All right, so today's date is Monday, October 21st, 2019. We are talking about two kind of random topics. Your laptop should be closed. Thank you, James. We're talking about two kind of random topics today, point slope form and properties of logarithms. Both of them are very, very useful when you're talking about AP Calculus. I'm trying to remember what unit in AP Calculus this is useful for this point slope form. Properties of logarithms, though, Gio and Sega will already tell you, yeah, I lost a point because I didn't know properties of logarithms. So make sure that you know them. All right, so who can read our objective today?
Will this thing go away if I read it?
Andrea.
Find the equation of a line through any point and use the three basic properties of logarithms.
I think there were 3 people
That was kind of mean. Chris, thank you for trying to participate.
I read the first one.
So here is point slope form. Notice that there are three things that we do not know. We do not know this, this, and this. So draw arrows here. This is obviously the y-coordinate of a point and the x-coordinate of a point. This is the slope that you will eventually find. But generally speaking, you have some point. That point, I'll write it down here. That point is of some coordinate x1, comma, so it's x1, comma, y1, and then you have to have the slope. So notice that in the equation here, I have a negative and a negative, which means if I have a point that has two positive numbers, I will have negative numbers here and here. You switch the signs. Make sure that you remember this. You switch the signs in point slope form. The other thing that you need to remember is slope. The equation for slope is what? That is the point, that is not slope. So y equals mx plus b is the slope-intercept form of an equation, which we will almost never use ever again. Perfect, yeah, so there's two definitions. I'll write Fiona's definition first. y2 minus y1 all divided by x2 minus x1. This one is super valuable to know, and I should lock that door. The other one that you need to know is what? Rise over run, which is better known as, in my class, delta y over delta x. Graphically, it's represented by rise over run. All right, so here we go. Example number 1. Complete the point slope equation of the line through -2, 7 and 1, -2. They have already chosen the point. I will repeat that again. They have already chosen the point for you. Can you tell which point they chose just by the fact that there's a -7 here? They chose the point -2, 7. So we need to figure out what the slope is here. And then we're going to do x minus the x-coordinate, which we can do right now. Who can give me the x-coordinate? Is there a quiet raised hand that knows the x-coordinate, Gio? -2, so I have minus minus 2, which means it's a positive 2. Yeah, thank you, Gio. I'll take it.
That's your fault.
Don't throw the cards, just put them in my inbox. So I have x plus 2, but the problem here is I don't know the slope. So in order to find the slope, I'm going to use either Fiona's equation or just the general form. I need to figure out the slope. I'm going to arbitrarily, randomly say that this is 0.2, this is 0.1, and I'm going to say, well, my delta y's are going to be, I start with my y-coordinate. My y2 is -2. I'm now going to subtract. My y1. My y1 is 7. This is all going to be divided by my x2, which is 1. Minus, again, the minus sign, just copying down the minus sign, minus my x1. x1 is -2. So I have a double negative on the bottom. And I can say that I'm working on slope here. I'm just going to say m is equal to this. And I'm going to simplify. I'm not going to simplify. You are going to simplify. Someone tell me what slope is. Christopher. -9 over 3, which reduces to -3. There it is. So I write in -3. Done. There's our problem. Our full equation is y minus 7 is equal to -3 times the quantity of x plus 2. Ready for the next one? Example number 2. Do it on your own. Work with each other if you are having trouble, and then we're moving on to the next topic. Good luck.
Oh.
Quiet raise hand. Who's going to go on this one?
James had his hand raised.
I did not see his hand raised. Anyone that has their hand raised, I can call on. Chris, go for it.
I'll go bottom.
Okay, that's fine.
3 plus 5.
3 plus 5 because you're finding slope right now. So slope, and then you're going to do 3 minus minus 3. So 3 minus minus 3, and that's where you came up with 3 plus 3, right?
Yeah.
And then
13 minus 5.
13 minus 5, because that's the difference in the x's, 13 and 5. That simplifies to what, Chris?
6 over something. 8.
Which reduces to
2 over 3. 4.
3/4. So you have found the slope of 3/4. Is there someone that can work on top of Chris's answer to tell me what I should put in the parentheses now? Chris has found the slope, which is indeed correct. It is 3/4. But what is inside the parentheses? Gio. X plus 3. How'd you come up with x plus 3? You're not quite right because they already chose the y coordinate. They said, hey, your y coordinate is -3, which means the x coordinate must be. Which one of these is -3? This one is -3, therefore the x coordinate is 5. So is it x plus 5 or minus 5, Gio? Minus 5. There's the correct answer. Give me a fist of 5 on using point slope form. It's tough one.
I'm being honest, okay? I don't know what's going on.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Ask a question. I can clarify.
I don't know.
That is a really bad sign. I'll come talk to you after we finish the notes then. Let's move on to properties of exponents. You guys should know these. These are where the rules, the 3 basic rules of logarithms comes into play. We are now on the second part of our objective. Use the 3 basic properties of logarithms. There are more properties than I'm going over today, but these are the main ones that you have to have down. So, b to the power of m times b to the power of n. I have the same base. This is equal to b to the power of what?
Nope.
B to the power of, is it m times n or m plus n? It's m plus n. Whenever you multiply bases, you add the exponents. What happens when I divide the bases? This is b to the power of, it is indeed minus n. And with a quiet raised hand, this one is going to be b to the power of what, Fiona? M times n. Perfect. This is where everything comes from. So, you guys try to remember what these are as we move on to the backside. If this looks familiar, it's because we did this last year. So, log base b of m times n is what? Oh boy. Fiona. So let me help you by giving you the structure. Log base b of something, some operation here, log base b of something. There it is. Fiona gave us the first one. Write it down. Fiona has our first property. And notice, as you're writing this down, because we made this bigger, we are expanding. So this arrow up here is for the word expanding. You need to be comfortable going from the left to the right, along with going from the right to the left to condense. So this is condensing. So I'm going log base b of m plus log base b of n. That turns into just this log base b of m times n.
Wait, so if we did this in algebra, what does that mean that when I was in 8th grade, I was taking precalculus?
I said up here, these point slope form, this was in algebra 1. Now we've moved into logarithms, which is algebra 2. All right, I'm glad that we're all on the same page. So notice that whatever's inside of the logarithm, treat those as powers. This is power of m times n. This is the power of m. So just notice that I'm multiplying here, then I'm adding in the powers, Because I've written a logarithm, this is now treated as a power. So very similarly, we're going to write log base b of m, log base b of n. Because these are now talking about the powers, what happens when I do division to the bases? Eva. You subtract. And this one is a bit confusing. This one I'm going to give yourself some room up in front, and I'm going to write log base b of m. Because this now represents a power, log base b of m is a power, if I multiply that by n, I'm still multiplying by a power. Remember, when I take an exponent, I'm really multiplying. When I take an exponent, I'm really multiplying. That's why I'm allowed to write n times log base b of m, which is more commonly written as n times log base b of m. My babysitters, or my what do you call those people? Child care person is texting me.
Riley has a babysitter?
Not yet. He needs one though. The main way that you can describe this as
I'll do it.
n, this power, comes down in front. Or vice versa, this power or this coefficient in front can come up to a power as long as it's inside the parentheses. Chris Hood. These are the three things that you definitely need to have down for AP Calculus, and you will definitely need to have it down by tonight for the homework. Just these three rules. There's a bunch of other rules too. These are the only ones I'm going to need. Once we talk about more BC topics, I'm going to have to go over the change of base formula and things like that to prove how to take derivatives of not natural logs but normal logs, which we haven't even done in AB Calculus for Stego and Geo. All right, so let's come talk about the default basis. If I say log of x, you have to assume that my base is what? This is really log base what of x? Quiet raised hand. Andrea.
10.
It is indeed 10. By default, if I just write log, I'm doing base 10. For AB Calculus, I only deal with natural log. In fact, Geo and Stego know how to take derivatives with natural log. Natural log is log base what of x? Anyone know this one? Log base what of x is natural log. It's a letter. Eva. It is indeed E.
That's all I remember.
All right, so I want you to use the following properties. And there's one property for each of them. Here we go. Example 1. We're going to write this in just one logarithm, where we have one number on the inside of the parentheses. So this is going to be equal to log, technically base 10, but we don't need to write that. We assume it's base 10. Log of what? Is it 8? Is it 15? What is it? Is it 8 or is it 15?
15.
Oh, wait, 8.
It's 15. Because our properties up here say, if I'm adding the logarithms, multiply to go on the inside. If I'm adding the logarithms, I multiply to go to the inside. Try the next one. This is equal to log of what? Is it going to be 16 or is it going to be 5?
5.
This is indeed 5. Try the next one. This is just log of one number. There's no number out front.
Log of 9 to the... Wait, 18.
Is it 18, 81, 9?
81.
It's 81. 9 to the power of 2 is 81. That's it for the notes. You guys have your 2 homework assignments up on Khan Academy. Are there any questions before we end the notes? Eva, Teflon, I know that you guys sounded like you were struggling a little bit.
Am I dumb or something?
You are not dumb or something. Any questions? Any questions? All right. please begin on the homework. I will be coming around individually and helping you guys out.